Well, so we've made you welcome back once again. And we are here at the bunker. You are about to see in pink the host league, Toronto Roller Derby CN Power, facing off against in white the Boston Massacre. And right off the bat, we've got lead jammer status awarded to Anorexia from Boston. Sorry, Maya Mangaliu, 11-11 with the jammer star for the Massacre. And she's going to take a quick 4 points. Boston first on the board. I'm going to give a quick run through of the CN Power roster for this game. 101 Misery May, 111 Santa Muerte, 1205 Runny Rumble, 1886 Smoke-A-Cola, 212 Lady Gaga, 26 Megaboosh, 2x4 Nasher the Smasher, 420 Mad Megs, 431 Scarchasm, 5678 Belfast, 747 Aims to Kill, 905 is Ballerina, 99 Hoser, and L7 Tear Apart. Wearing the jammer star right now for CN Power, that is number 420 Mad Megs.
And we're going to see her out. She is your lead jammer. In the meantime, it looks like Space Invader coming back. Nope. She must have missed the point of no return. She's going to sit down for her penalty. Right now we've got a power jam for CN Power. Oh, look at that. They open up the entire inside lane for her, Whistler. And she's making this look easy.
Yeah, this is Mad Meg's first sanctioned game with CN Power, a recent transfer to Toronto. And she is making the most of her first time on the 1234 Skateco jammer line, and she's already racked up 15 points, Bob.
And she's going to approach the pack one more time. Pack is there, then it's there, and Mad Max is right there, out in front. And been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. That's going to be yet another grand slam.
This is the second time all-time that these two teams have faced off in sanctioned competition. Previous time was at the 2013 WFTDA International Division I playoffs in Salem, Oregon, where CN Power pulled off a last-second victory. So Boston out for revenge. They have a bit of work, though, in the early going to do, as we've already had 24 points come in for CN Power. After two jams, they have a 20-point lead, 24-4.
And the teams start to line up. And it looks like we're going to have Belfast. And that's for CN Power. Or, I'm sorry, Flying King.
Yeah, Flying King jamming for Boston. Belfast for CN Power. Tear Apart from CN Power picking up a track cutting penalty. Belfast picks up the lead jammer status.
And with Belfast out in front, Flying King absolutely stymied by the defense. She's going to get a little offensive help, and she'll finally get through the pack.
Both teams setting up at turn one. Misery May comes in with a sweep, opens up some space for Belfast, who puts up another 4 points. Quick run through of the Boston Massacre roster for this game. Number 101, Anorexia. 103F, Emily Powelski. 1111 is Maya Mangaliu. 1634, Stevie Nixer. 1929, Amy Rock. 1978, Space Invader. 1987, Shark Week. 300, Hard Times. 43, Ginger Kid. 451, Lil Payne. Number 8 is Aubrey Planets. 859, Shane Nestor. 99M, Womanimal. And K1N6 is Flying King.
And right now the jammer's off and running. Out in front is going to be Boston's Maya Mangaliu. And being chased down right now by and that was going to be 1886, who is Smoke-A-Cola.
Yeah, we're a little inhibited here behind the team benches, so trying to get our sight lines improved a bit. But that was a 4-0 jam for Boston. They're up to 8. CN Power at 33. 25 minutes left in the first half here at Quad City Chaos. Looking at number 905, Ballerina on the 1234 Skako jammer line for CN Power.
And Space Invader going to be out there for Boston. And Space Invader almost gets through the front. She gets forced into a track cut. Both of them do. And it's just going to be a jammer race to the chair.
Yeah, we're going to have a bit of a do-si-do in the penalty box as, yes, both jammers picking up track cutting penalties. This one will be going the full 2 minutes. Ballerina back on the track, and now we also have Space Invader being drawn back there by the pivot. 747 aims to kill for CN Power.
I'll tell you, Ballerina, she got herself to the front and just got clipped, knocked out of bounds, had to recycle. Space Invader taking some pretty nice shots out there from Misery May.
Misery May, a first-year member of Toronto CN Power.
Ballerina again recycled to the back. And this time, though, Space Invader going to get through the 2-wall up front by CN Power. And though she is not the lead jammer, she is on a scoring pass.
Bit of a leap there, trying to get around Nasher the Smasher, who closed the door on her. Now getting drawn back there by Ballerina, doing a bit of defense. Nobody has scored yet, and we have only 25 seconds left in this jam. We have a bit of a defensive battle here.
Yeah, this is going to be 2 minutes of total jammer battering.
Ooh, nice little hop there by Space Invader. Finally gets past Megamouth, and that's good for a grand slam for the Boston Massacre. That's going to put him into double digits.
Ballerina still trying to push her way through that front 2-wall, unable to do so. And that results in a 33-14 score.
Yeah, a 6-0 jam after all that in favor of the Boston Massacre. Officiating crew for this game, the head referee for this game is Deuce Willis. We also have, as an IPR Cleveland, jammer refs are Code Adam and Mattisfaction. OPR is Semiracle, Victor Von Refenstein, and Just Mo.
And as we get started this time around, we've got number 420 out there. That's Mad Megs, of course, for the Boston Massacre.
Boston now on a power
Ginger
jam, though.
Kid.
Mad Megs picking up a track cutting penalty. Big opportunity for Boston to close that gap. Ginger Kid clears the pack on her initial pass. Seeing Amy Rock also on her way to the penalty box, so a bit of a parade happening right now. Rennie Rumble, the drawback there on Ginger Kid, takes her back around the apex. Ginger Kid bouncing off of Lady Gaga. That's good for 5 big roller derby points for the Boston Massacre. Ginger Kid coming up along the inside, bouncing off of Santa Muerte, regains her feet. Mad Meg's back in play out of the penalty box. Ginger Kid being drawn back there by Lady Gaga and Hoser.
Tell you, Mad Meg's really, she's got that physical ability to really leverage her body, able to push through with a lot of power.
And in the early going, she is so far the leading point scorer in this game. Santa Muerte on her way to the penalty box now. Meanwhile, Hoser and Rennie Rumble have to let Ginger Kid go. She picks up 4 on that scoring pass. Mad Megs, late hit there by Planets number 8. Megs escapes her.
Yeah, right now, Boston needs to get their defense put together. A little more chemistry and coordination. You can't chase people down. It never has been, never will be effective.
Well, Ginger Kid picks up 4 more points on that final scoring pass. Boston closing the gap. CN Power currently sitting at 42 points. And looks like Boston at 27, unless there's still 4 more to be added to the board. 20 minutes left in the first half here at Quad City Chaos Game 2. We already saw a big upset. Rideau Valley Vixens taking Steel Hurton in the opening game of Quad City Chaos. CM Power now. Belfast getting taken down at turn 1, and that's going to allow Flying King, the jammer for Boston, to pick up lead jammer status.
Well, I tell you, Belfast looked like she got turned into a folding chair in the first turn. Pops back up pretty quickly, though.
She may have popped up a little too quickly, though, as she has picked up a track-cutting penalty. This is now a power jam for Flying King and the Boston Massacre. King looking for an opening on the inside, zips to lanes 2 and 3. Just goes over the line. Looking to see, is she good? Nope, getting waved back onto the track by Code Adam. A little bit of a miscommunication. She was concerned maybe she had cut the track, but if the jam gets called, Code Adam is showing a 5 spot for Flying King.
As a jammer, you're always wary of what they're trying to tell you. Are you trying to trick me into coming back onto the track?
Because that is something that they do, isn't it?
I don't get it. They never tell me to come back on. What are you doing?
Code Adam is a level 4 WFTDA certified official. I don't think he's going to be playing mind games.
No,
like that.
I know. But I can say that about Adam because I've known him for a long time.
Well, this is a timeout, and this timeout is brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics. Transform your game. Visit them at rollerderbyathletics.com.
And as long as we're going to pay some bills, let's give a shout out to Wicked Skatewear. Wicked Skatewear loves to make you look and feel fabulous. Plus, we like glitter and neon. A lot of neon. Visit wickedskatewear.com and at hashtag Wicked Skatewear to experience the shenanigans.
Right now we're looking at the captains and the A's in at the center of the track there, talking with Deuce Willis, finding out what's being discussed here. Haven't seen this turn into an official review yet. But we do see her unholiness, the priestess Dusty, wearing the A for CM Power, and looks like it's Mitochondria wearing the A for Boston. Both these teams will be in action again later today here at Quad City Chaos at 5 o'clock in a game simulcast on WFTDA TV. We'll have the Boston Massacre taking on the Steel Hurton. And at 7, the Battle of Ontario between CM Power and the Rideau Valley Vixens, again on WFTDA TV. If you want to talk at us, of course, use the Twitter hashtag #TalkToQCC. That's talk, the number 2, QCC. And Bob, what's going on out there on the track?
Well, they're talking about an egregious clockwise block against one of the Toronto skaters. Didn't see it, but she went down and apparently was got up pretty slowly or was hurt. And they're talking about that right now. Now, of course, when you start talking egregious, that's a whole different level.
No, that's a $1 million word that starts with the letter E, and it's something we do not want to see in roller derby.
So I'm not sure if it was called to start with, but they were looking for an egregious added to that.
Well, Deuce is now delivering a verdict to the captains and the A's. Deuce Willis, head referee for this crew. We have 3 full solid crews here at Quad City Chaos. Deuce is the crew head for this one. He's a level 4 certified WFTDA referee. Comes from the Hammer City Roller Girls in Hamilton, Ontario. Just down.
Good old Hammer City.
Yeah, just down the QEW from us.
I just learned about that this weekend.
I learned about the QEW.
Yeah.
So just got the quick word there from our alt referee that the call has happened on the track stands. So as a result, I do believe that means that CM Power will not retain their official review for this half. They currently have an 11-point lead, 43-32, 19 minutes left in the first half. Boston is starting this on a power jam, though. They've got, a 4-5-1, Lil Payne. Payne is the jammer coming off the 1234 skate code jammer line. And now Belfast back on for CM Power. Lil Payne does pick up lead jammer status. Belfast encountering a wall of resistance, comes through the middle as her teammates split apart that Boston wall. Lil Payne tries to jump the apex, catches a bit of Rennie Rumble in the process, drives her to the infield. Jam gets called. No points, just donuts on the board.
Yeah, Lil Payne trying to sneak a few in before she knew she was going to have to call it off. Didn't quite stick the landing.
At the end of that jam, looks like number 99, Hoser for CM Power skating to the penalty box. CM Power is going to start this one with 3 blockers on the track. Smoke-A-Cola 1886 wearing the star of the 1234 skate code jammer line for CM Power, and that's Maya Mangaliu with a quick lead jammer pickup as she took lane 4. Smoke-A-Cola still looking for an opening up the inside, takes it, and she is through on her initial pass.
Well, I tell you, there was a terrific sit block by Boston on her. The minute Smoke-A-Cola hit the pack, held her up long enough to keep her from being lead jam. A great individual move.
And Smoke-A-Cola is deceptively fast, but unable to catch up to the pack on that one before it gets called. So that's a 4-0 pickup for the Massacre, and they are now within single digits of CM Power. 43-36 is your score.
Of course, CM Power in the pink and black, and the Boston Massacre in the traditional red, white, and blue.
The Ginger Kid, number 43, coming off the 1234 skate code jammer line for the Massacre. And that's Ballerina, number 905 for CM Power in pink. Ginger Kid picks up lead. Balla gets stuck in the pack, looking for some help from her teammates. Boston with a couple of 2 walls, now spreading that around. Toronto has passed the star. Or they are in the process of a star pass.
Ginger Center there doing a nice job of using her lateral movement, doing a tomahawk around the outside of the pack. And the outside seems to be one of the spots CM Power is not doing a good job of covering against her at the moment.
Yeah, so Ballerina was doing a star stash, held it in her hand, and waited for Rennie Rumble, her pivot, to come out of the penalty box. A little backhand pass to her. Nobody saw it coming, but she's unable to catch the pack and score. And we have had a lead change as Boston puts up a big 14-0 jam. Sorry, nope, they're making adjustments on the fly. 14-0 jam. So Boston at an even 50, CM Power 43. We're almost at the halfway point, Bob. And looks like Boston's made some adjustments. CM Power now calling a timeout.
Yeah, sometimes, as we both know, it just takes a little bit of time to get the butterflies out, especially this early in the season. A lot of these girls haven't played together very much, if at all. It could be the first game for some of them.
Well, for sure. And for Toronto, this is the first sanctioned game of the 2015 season for CN Power. They had a closed, unsanctioned game against Queen City last month. It's a bit of a tune-up, but this is their first game with this new roster. And they have called a timeout. This team timeout, again, brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics. Visit them at rollerderbyathletics.com and transform your game.
We've talked an awful lot about how close the 4 teams, the 4 A teams are matched, or the 4 charter teams are matched up here at this particular tournament. But when you take a look through the final rankings from last year and into this year, this entire geographic region of the Great Lakes, in both the Canadian and the U.S. side, is filled with
very
teams.
Tight. Yeah, it's
amazing.
It's very tight. I mean, Rideau Valley, they're into D1 on a bullet. They just made it into the Division II playoffs last season, and then wound up taking second in the championships. and they've already crept up to number 39 in the early goings of this season. So we're seeing a lot more parity, I think, than we even thought we would coming into this tournament. Mad Meg's now back on with this Jammer Star for CM Power, number 420, picks up lead Jammer status. Flying King, K1N6 in white for the Boston Massacre, tries to get around Misery May, tear apart. They're drawing her back, not quite far enough though. Both jammers are through, but Megs has already scored. She's picked up 5 big roller derby points, the only kind of points that we have.
Yeah, nice natural grand slam. Also kind of created a wake for Boston's jammer to come through. But that's all it was really able to do, was to put a little pressure on Megs to call it off.
Yeah, this Boston Massacre team has a lot of high-end experience on it. They've got people who played for Team Canada at the World Cup, people who played for Team Brazil, Team Ireland, Team Switzerland. A lot of experience there, not just at home but abroad. CM Power, of course, Nash the Smasher was on Team Canada. Rennie Rumble on Team Mexico at World Cup, so they've got a bit of experience of their own. Belfast, in her first full season with the star for CM Power, comes into the infield, was in the process of a star pass or stash, has to go back. But yes, a fair bit of turnover on the CM Power roster from last season.
Lil Payne, of course, your lead jammer, already picked up a grand slam.
Belfast getting the word from her bench just to go, 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 and that's what she's doing. Lil Payne, though, making it look easy. She's already got 9. Belfast picking up a back blocking penalty. This is now a power jam for Boston.
I'll tell you, Whistler, the way Lil Payne is skating right now, this is probably the last person you want out on the floor if you're stuck in the penalty box. And, of course, the curse of the announcer, just as I say that, she gets a little resistance going through the pack, but she was through there like greased lightning the entire time.
Now Lil Payne, with a 19-0 jam, co-captain of Team Ireland at World Cup, as we were talking about before. Lots of experience at home with Boston as well, 7 years. Seeing the Red Claws coming out in the stands from the Boston fans. Of course, all 4 leagues participating in Quad City Chaos this year have brought B teams. Nice thing about that is you bring your own cheering section as well. So we're hearing a lot more noise in the bunker here at Downsview Park than we ordinarily get this early in the day.
Well, right now we've got another roller derby athletics timeout, and I believe that this is just an official timeout. Yep, as they're going to line them back up at the 1234 Skate Company jammer line.
And that's Maya Manglew, 11-11, wearing the star for the Massacre. She's the only jammer on the track to start. Belfast has left the box. Maya Manglew picking up lead jammer status, looking for some direction from the bench. What do you want me to do? Because Belfast has also completed her initial pass. They're telling Manglew to go for it. Both teams picking up some speed here, jostling for position. Belfast getting around Stevie Nixer. And Hard Times, who are putting up a bit of resistance. Maya Manglew scoring, so is Belfast. Nobody calling it yet.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that Maya didn't call it prior to Belfast getting into the pack, but they still haven't called it at this point. I think they're hoping to go point for point for the rest of the jam at least.
Well, Maya Manglew now has a 4-point advantage on this one. This is an 8-4 jam thus far. Belfast still trying to complete a scoring pass. And she does. So again, yes, they are even, 8-8. Mega Mouth taking out Maya Manglew, who's waiting. There come the hands on the hips. And that final pass does net her a 3-0 result. So after all that work, Bob, it's a net result, a 3-point pickup for the Boston Massacre. They're sitting at should be 80-61 once they get that scoreboard updated, I believe. 11 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, that was a scenario where they probably should have called it off sooner than what they did.
Coming off the 12:34 skate code jammer line, Smoke-A-Cola, 1886. She picks up her first lead jammer status of the game. Ginger Kid taken down hard by Santa Muerte. Lady Gaga now with the drawback. Smoke-A-Cola already with a quick grand slam, and that's going to get the home crowd into this game.
And I'll tell you, Whistler, there's Smoke-A-Cola speed that you had talked about earlier.
Smoke-A-Cola, another recent transfer to Toronto Roller Derby, also skates with the Misfit Militia up in Alliston, Ontario. Boston has now passed the star. Ginger Kid handing it off to 1634 at Stevie Nixer, but not in time to do anything with it. 9-point pickup there for Smoke-A-Cola. So once they get that scoreboard updated, that's going to be 80-70 for the Boston Massacre. 10-point lead. This is a close one, as we thought, and judging from what we saw in the opening game between Rideau Valley and Steel City, I have a feeling, Bob, this whole weekend is going to be full of tight, mind-bending roller derby action.
Oh, absolutely. This is exactly what we expected. Teams that come in this closely ranked to each other are not going to post blowouts.
The wild card, of course, as I was saying before, a lot of roster turnover from last year, including half of their jammer rotation on CM Power, but Mad Megs and Smoke-A-Cola both looking very comfortable wearing the stars. Hard Times laying it in hard on Mad Megs, but she holds to her feet, puts up another 5 spot, and that gap is getting reduced once again.
Well, I'll tell you, CN Powers and Asher the Smasher doing a heck of a job out there trying to minimize the damage and points given up.
Lil Payne still has the star in her hand. Aims to kill with a nice takeout at turn 4.
Oh, and you see Megs coming to your screen there. We see one of the Boston girls gets laid out, and that's the back block that you're seeing being signaled right now.
Yeah, she came in a little hot there, and she gets called for it. She did engineer a lead change during the previous scoring pass, 81-80 at the moment. However, Boston in scoring position right now. Hard Times, number 300, the recipient of a star pass. She's got to beat Tara Part. Nasher the Smasher comes up along with Rennie Rumble. They're trying to drive her out, unable to do so. Lead swings back in Boston's favor as 5 points come on the board for Hard Times.
Well, I'll tell you, that jammer sticks her toe stops in the ground and was able to keep her balance and her leverage to shake those 2 final blocks. It was impressive.
Lil Payne now up front, along with Amy Rock and a couple others that can't see from this vantage point, doing a bit of a shutdown job there. Final points coming in on that one. Still have a Boston lead, though. Looks like it was a 16-8 pickup for CM Power. However, scoreboard showing your net result of 88-82, 7.5 minutes left in the first half. You may be watching right now on layer9.ca. I'm very pleased and blessed to have a really wonderful crew here putting this action out for you. Of course, Mr. Force, the brains behind the Boutcast operation. Brains on the track right now, though, belong to number 905, Ballerina, coming off the 12:34 skate code jammer line. She picks up a quick lead status. Now has a couple of Massacre blockers to beat on her first scoring pass. Maya Mangaliu trying to get around the pivot, Santa Muerte, who feeds her off to Lady Gaga. Maya Mangaliu completes that scoring pass.
And she'll call off the jam. Ballerina, as you and I both know, very, very tenacious skater. Somebody who came up through the B team, was an absolute star on that squad. Somebody that I've had the opportunity to watch progress through her career and have enjoyed. She was stymied in those first 2 jams, but you knew, like a place kicker, she's going to shake it off. come back out and turn it on.
For sure. She's finding her legs right now, and she just put CM Power back in the lead. 6 minutes plus on the clock, 91-88, a 3-point lead for Toronto. Flying King coming off the 12:34 Skako jammer line, runs into tear apart Nasher the Smasher. Amy Rock comes in to split those two up. Smoke-A-Cola looking for that opening on the inside, unable to get through. Flying King taking a big hit from Mega Mouth, but getting the best of that collision. Picks up lead jammer status for the Massacre.
Yeah, Smoke-A-Cola looked like she just about had it. Couldn't get through the final 2 wall, got forced into a track cut. She'll take a seat. And that puts all the power in the hands of Flying King at the moment.
5.5 minutes left on the period clock. Flying King, you see Mega Mouth lighting her up. Flying King sidesteps that. Puts up another grand slam for the Massacre. She's having a great first half right now.
Just infinitely impressed with Nasher the Smasher, who at the back of the pack has just been killing jammers.
Yeah, veteran skater for Toronto, going back to the very first season for Toronto Roller Derby in 2007. A couple of other veterans on the CM Power roster, including Mia Culprit, Lady Gaga, Tear Apart. Veterans and new skaters as this team turns over, finding their legs in 2015. Mad Megs now on the 12:34 Skako jammer line, going up against number 451, Lil Payne. And again, Boston in white, CM Power in pink. Lil Payne taken down by Rennie Rumble and Scarchasm, the captain of CN Power. Mad Megs picking up where she left off previously, picks up lead jammer status. Meg's a very solid skater on her feet, very difficult to take down.
Yeah, she was really a good pickup for CN Power because she's got such an amazing sense of balance, and her ability to take that, to use her stance to leverage herself makes her very hard to knock over.
Boston now getting into penalty trouble, has 2 blockers in the box. That's going to allow Mad Megs a little more room. She puts up another grand slam, gets those box points. She's on a 10-0 run right now.
Yeah, totally had the inside lane open to herself on that last pass.
Boston, meanwhile, passing the star to Space Invader, who now does a bit of defense, engaging with Mad Megs up at the front. Megs calls it. No more points on the end of that one. However, it was a 15-4 jam for Toronto. Nope, they've adjusted that back, 15-0 jam, so it's 106-95, 3 minutes left, Bob. The pinch chants are starting over in the stands on the far straightaway. They've got the lobster claws up. They didn't bring any lobster for us, though.
No, I don't think you could throw one on the track. Or is that octopus? I always forget.
Yeah, that's a hockey thing. They do that in Detroit. That's a Detroit Derby team.
Okay.
Derby thing. Maya Mangaliu taken out. Nasher the Smasher going to the box, and a multiplayer block being issued to the pivot for CM Power. Aims to kill. Maya Mangaliu picking up lead jammer status. Ballerina taken down hard by number 8, Aubrey Planets for the Massacre. Maya Mangaliu now all the way back around. She's looking to score some points. Mega Mouth tear apart. Teaming up. They're able to force a track cut on Maya Mangaliu. So this is now a power jam for Ballerina and CN Power.
Well, I think the one thing that becomes really evident when you watch Ballerina in particular go up against this Boston defense is the power of the blockers that she's up against. Their blockers have size and strength consistently all the way through that you don't see in very many teams.
No, exactly. Both teams have kind of bulked up over the years. So Ballerina with some endurance coming back around. Shark Week is up front there with the Massacre and Hard Times. Maya Mangaliu back out of the box, completes the scoring pass she had been on when she picked up her penalty. So that's 4 points that show up there. Ballerina now getting around the Boston Massacre blockers at the front. Maya Mangaliu running into aims to kill. Megamouth and Nashard with the drawback on Maya Mangliu. Ballerina's got some work to do. Megamouth with a big hit there.
Yeah, I think the pack just turned from chop to puree.
It did. They're finding new settings all the time as this game goes on. That was there for Toronto. They're up by 21 points. Less than a minute on the period clock. 124 to 103.
I think that's a few minutes Ballerina's going to remember for a while and feel for a while.
Well, they're going to be able to rewind this and see this over and over again. Very shortly after these games go out live, ladies and gentlemen, they will be archived for later viewing. So you can watch this over and over and over again.
It's just like Labyrinth. You can't watch it enough times.
Except without the creepy puppets.
Yeah.
Although we do have some mascots in the crowd this weekend.
And mascots are generally creepy.
We do have a no clown policy here at the bunker. Belfast now taking the star off her helmet, pulling off the star stash. She's going to put that back on. Just gets her initial pass out of the way. Ginger Kid having the time of her life up front. Gets a ride off the hips of Rennie Rumble, though. Calls the jam. Puts up 3 points for Boston.
Just glad to see she got up as quickly as she did. That was one of those slow, losing your balance, awkward backward falls that you hate to see. And that's going to take us, my friend, right into the halftime.
Yep, scoreboard showing 129 to 106. Very energetic first half. Both teams getting into a little bit of penalty trouble. Seeing power jams on both sides. Some number of skaters on the inside whiteboard, which we still have at Quad City Chaos, ladies and gentlemen. Showing about 3 points, 3 penalties on the board.
The thing that's interesting to me, unlike the previous game, you saw the different strengths and weaknesses in the two teams. These two teams they play a very similar style. They're very evenly matched, both in offense and defense. And it's really going to come down to mental errors, penalties, or, sticking that one crazy move that needs to be done in order to pick up the extra few points. It's going to be an exciting second half.
No, for sure, Bob. And, of course, there's going to be 2 more games for both of these teams this weekend. Yes, 2 more games.
But wait, there's more.
There's more, yes. Later today on WFTDA TV at 7 p.m. this evening, we will see CM Power taking on the Rideau Valley Vixens from Ottawa, Ontario. The Battle of Ontario. Boston will be playing at 5 o'clock against Steel City's Steel Hurton, also on WFTDA TV.
There you go. And if that's not enough for you, we got a whole slew lined up for tomorrow, too. So, with that, I'm Bob Noxious. This is Mr. Whistler. We're going to take you into halftime, and we'll talk to you in a minute.
Thank you.
Hey, what do you know? We're back.
We are back indeed, Bob.
As promised.
As promised. We don't want to lie to you people about that.
No.
So we are at the bunker in Downsview Park in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. If you just joined us, where were you? You missed an incredible first half. We're about to have the second half between the Boston Massacre, who is wearing white, and Toronto's CN Power in pink. Coming out of halftime, CN Power with the lead 129 to 107. A bit of back and forth, multiple lead changes happening in that first half.
I'll tell you, Whistler, this has probably been 2 of the best matched teams I've watched in a long time. As you and I were talking about at the break, the size and strength of the blockers is almost offsetting, and the jammers really have their work cut out for them.
They do. We've seen some success on both sides. Maya Mangliu and Ginger Kid both putting out some strong numbers for the Massacre. On the Toronto side, Mad Megs has had a very strong game. Having a quick look at the whiteboards, both teams have 1 skater on 4. Looks like Rennie Rumble for CM Power has 4 trips to the penalty box, and would appear to be 1987 from Boston Shark Week, also with 4 trips. But we are underway. Maya Mangaliu coming off the 1234 skate code jammer line, drawn back by CM Power. Mad Megs, the star for Toronto. Maya Mangaliu picking up lead status right now. It's Mad Megs getting swarmed by the Massacre, and they're going to take her all the way back to turn 1. Amy Rock with the final drawback there. So Maya Mangaliu now on a scoring run. Mad Megs yet to complete her initial pass. Maya Mangaliu with the quick grand slam. Hard times, lay it in hard. Again on Mad Megs up front there with Shark Week. And that's Mad Megs completing her initial pass.
Yeah, I tell you, that was a nicely leveraged sit block. You don't see somebody able to stop them quite like that. Very well done, but Mad Meg's going to put up the points.
So that was an 8-0 run for Boston. Scoreboard now showing 129-115 here in the second half at the bunker. On the 1234 skate code jammer line for Boston in white, number 43, Ginger Kid. And for Toronto, 1886, Smoke-A-Cola. Smoke-A-Cola getting taken back there by Womanimal. 99M for Boston. Whammy, a very dynamic skater for the Massacre. Scarcasm catching Ginger Kid, who had picked up lead status, takes her to the outside. Smoke-A-Cola with the star stash, gets through on her initial. No points are going to come in on that one, Bob.
Well, I tell you, that catch by Scarcasm saved that entire jam. She's able to outrun her, just able to tip her out of bounds. Smart move.
So now on the 1234 skate code jammer line, we're looking at Ballerina, number 905 for Toronto.
I tell you, the key for Ballerina is really going to have to be, I think she's going to really have to lean on her agility and her footwork a little more than she has. I don't think she's got the physical strength to get through some of these blockers with her legs.
Meanwhile, we're looking at number 451, Lil Payne, wearing the star for the Massacre. She's got a lot of great lateral movement, taken to the infield there by Nasher the Smasher. It goes back, but she still has a lot of room. However, it's Ballerina picking up lead jammer status for Toronto. Lil Payne also through.
Yeah, Ballerina doing a nice job of moving from side to side, from outside of the track to the inside, find some space. There she's gonna hit the floor, call off the jam.
And she does pick up 1 point there. Gets her point. It's a 1-0 jam.
Well, it's a win.
Yeah, it's a big smile on her face as she comes off the track there. Boston calling a timeout.
And, of course, all our timeouts are brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics. The team official timeouts are brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics. Visit them at rollerderbyaathletics.com and transform your game.
Right now there is one Boston skater in the penalty box.
And as they talk here, let's pay a few more bills. Let's say thank you to Nerd Roller Skates, Calgary's only quad skate shop, now offering free shipping in Canada with orders over $150. Find them at nerdskate.com.
Yeah, so that single Boston skater in the penalty box right now is number 1987 Shark Week. She is on her 5th trip to the box. So this will be a 4-3 pack advantage for CM Power. They're sending out number 5678 Belfast to the 1234 Skako jammer line. She's going up against number 1978 Space Invader for the Boston Massacre in white. Both teams setting up some diamonds on the track. Space Invader almost taken out by Santa Muerte, keeps herself in bounds. Belfast up front, Womanimal holding her back.
Well, I'll tell you, the difference right there with Belfast and some of the other jammers is she has amazing upper body strength. She rattled those walls loose with her shoulders and her arms.
Yeah, and she's got great legs on her, and she's now going to put to work on a power jam as Space Invader picked up a track cutting penalty. She was trying to do a star sash to get through that wall and got a little bit cautious over the line there, went back a little too quickly. So Belfast now on a power jam for Toronto to see what she can do and capitalize. Shayna Nestor taking her to the infield. Lady Gaga trying to spread apart this Boston wall. They've got all 4 blockers just swarming Belfast. Shark Week takes her to the infield.
Well, tell me Shark Week doesn't smell blood, because she is never out of the picture. If she's not harassing you in the front, she's doing what she did right there, and that's shooting to the back. And that's why she's as well known as she is.
Belfast calls it, does put up a 10-0 jam with a pair of grand slams. CM Power now up at 140, Boston at 115. Belfast, really good eyes among all the Toronto skaters. She's probably one of the best at clock management, both just working to see where the other jammer is at all times.
Awareness is such a big part of it. Physical skill is great, but if you're not aware of what's going on, it doesn't matter.
Mad Meg's now drawn back there by number 8. That's Aubrey Planets. So Flying King, they're up front there jamming for Boston.
Oh, I tell you, Rock, what a great name for her. You're not gonna, Boulder, I think. You're not gonna move her.
Flying King gets through, but they're gonna pick up a track cutting penalty. That is the penalty du jour for jammers. And this is a power jam for Toronto. So Boston's going to have to go to a strict 100% defense mode right now. They do have all 4 on the floor. Rock and Aubrey Planets teaming up there on Mad Megs. Mad Megs, little too eager to re-enter play, cuts the track, cutting in front of Anorexia, and that's going to mean the power jam is going to switch, and that pendulum is now going to go into Boston's favor. Flying King, they're out of the box and back on the track. Mad Megs still about to take her seat in the penalty box.
You know, that's one thing Megs has got to do. She got knocked out of the 4th turn. She's got to hustle back to that seat. You can't take that casually.
That's right. For those of you watching your first games held here at the Bunker in Downsview Park in Toronto, the penalty box is at turn 4 on this track, so that is where the point of no return is. Flying King, you know, with a nice quick little move around Nasher the Smasher. Hoser almost catching King. King gets through, puts up a 5 spot. Mad Megs re-entering play. He's going to have to get around Rock and Planets.
Easier said than done. Oh, my.
Well, looks like Ames and Hoser may have gotten their wires crossed there as they left a bit of an opening that Flying King saw very quickly, and they took it. 5 points, though, do come in for Mad Megs on that last scoring pass. So a 9-5 jam in favor of Boston. Currently, CM Power, though, with a 21-point lead, Bob, 145 to 124.
Well, as we suspected, you know, sometimes you look at, a lot of times we talk way too much about how the jamming, I call it the jamming stable, is built, how many different kinds of jammers they have, how deep they are, and how that affects the game. This one is totally going to be up to the blocking, because it is so masterful, it is so powerful that, you know, in a lot of cases, jammers are just going to have to catch a lucky break.
Well, exactly, Bob. And looks like when after this official timeout, Boston will have a 4-3 pack advantage. Mega Mouth is standing in the box for CM Power. So Boston so far has fielded Hard Times, number 300. But 103F, Emily Powelski. Can't see quite from here who else is on the track. Looks like Womanimal and Lil Payne with the pivot stripe. Maya Maglu 1111 waiting on the 1234 Skateco jammer line. Lil Payne, of course, doing a bit of a double threat, so don't be surprised if we see a star pass in this jam for Boston.
Well, I tell you, during this Roller Derby Athletics timeout, we'd like to say thank you to Come As You Are. Founded in 1997, Come As You Are Cooperative is the world's only anti-capitalist sex-positive, worker-owned sex shop. Check them out in person or visit comeasyouare.com to learn more.
Yeah, Come As You Are is a year-long sponsor of Toronto Roller Derby, and
Thank you.
We thank the good folks there for all of what they've done to help us and help our people. So the 3 blockers that CM Power will send out for this one going to be Santa Muerte, Runny Rumble, and Scarchasm. After all this has been said and done, though, during this official timeout, they found a penalty that was left on the floor for Flying King, and they're in the penalty box. So this is actually going to be a power jam for Toronto and Smoke-A-Cola.
Interesting.
And it looks like it was a track cut that they located left on the floor there for Flying King. Only the second trip to the penalty box for King. Jammers on both sides, though, have been running into a little bit of a problem with that box.
Yeah, there's been a pretty heavy rotation in and out of the penalty box for both teams. Much more so than we saw in the first game.
Well, that's why they put comfy chairs in there, Bob.
Not the comfy chair.
And this jam has started. Smoke-A-Cola, the only jammer coming off the 1234 skate code jammer line, running into a lot of interference. Maya Mangaliu with the pivot stripe for Boston.
And I'll tell you, sometimes if you squeeze on a banana hard enough, it shoots out of the peel. And that's pretty much what happened to Smoke-A-Cola in that pack.
Maya Mangaliu actually with the pivot stripe now in that penalty box. So Flying King on their own, no one to pass to. Don't think that they're going to mind too much, seeing a lot of strength from that jammer for the Massacre. Smoke-A-Cola, meanwhile, tries to come up the inside. Womanimal driving Smoke-A over the line.
Flying King catching a hit. Didn't see exactly what happened. Awkward fall out of bounds, and she had to recycle herself.
Well, it was Santa Muerte, 111 with the pivot stripe for CN Power. Up front now, they have a diamond, or triangle rather, going. It's Rennie Rumble and Santa and Mega. Meanwhile, Smoke-A-Cola encountering a Boston triangle. Both teams kind of split off. Flying King comes up lane 4. Mega Mouth unable to catch King. Smoke-A getting tangled up with Maya Mangaliu, calls the jam. Jammer ref Code Adam throws up 3 fingers. Mattisfaction, who's tracking the points for Boston in this half, throws up a closed fist. That would be a 3-0 scoring pass in favor of Smoke-A-Cola, Bob.
Yep, and a 12-0 run. One of the bigger that we have seen so far early in this weekend of Quad City Chaos.
That's right. This is a 33-point lead for CM Power right now, 20 minutes to go. Ginger Kid, number 43, has been having a strong game for the Massacre. Trying to get up around Nasher the Smasher. Goes out of bounds, though, and has to go all the way back. Ballerina.
Nice work there. She's got... Now she's learned that if nothing else, keep the feet moving. Don't plant and try and push. And she's having more success because of it. Planets had her just absolutely pinned. And the minute she kept her feet moving, she was able to move around, force the call.
And Ginger Kid calls the jam. She had picked up lead status right before she got taken out at turn 1. Just didn't realize it quite right away. So as soon as she had the opportunity, she did call it. No damage done, no points for either team.
No damage done, no rewards gained.
Maya Mangaliu, fine footwork. She does a dipsy doodle around Hoser, picks up lead jammer status. Womanimal forcing a track cut on Mad Megs of CM Power. This is a power jam for the Boston Massacre. Maya Mangaliu. Maya Mangaliu already with 5 points. We're seeing Amy Rock go to the penalty box for Boston. They still have 3 out on the track. Shayna Nestor, Womanimal, and Lil Payne.
I tell you, I like that. I like that right there. I just think the passive offense or passive defense or both, whatever it's become, is played way too often when you don't need to, and there they do a nice job of running interference and getting her through quickly.
Yeah, the Massacre does definitely have that timing down well. They are out there helping their jammers actively, something that's really important with their offense, especially at this stage of the game. More than half of the half left, and they're only down now by 18 points. As Maya Mangaliu has already picked up 15 in this jam. Maya Mangaliu with the call, calls it in time. That's a shutout on Toronto and Mad Megs in that one.
Yeah, but it could have been a lot worse. The teams were not stacked in her favor on that last run. She has to call it off after going through her team as she sees her opponent coming right up through the back.
But again, those Boston blockers that we saw out there on that one, I mean,
that was brutal.
You've got Womanimal out there. You've got Little Pain. You've got all sorts of people out there causing all sorts of damage.
They're interchangeable. You put Rock out there. You put Anna out there. You put Planets out there. You put Shark Week out there. It's crazy.
Right now, Boston has Space Invader out there who just forced her way through that CM Power wall. Bit of an apex jump there at turn 2. Picks up the 4 points. You can see as she's skating back to the bench. She's like, oh, did I call it a little too soon?
Well, that's actually nice. For two guys who have coached and know jammers who've looked them off many times.
That's right.
I've never had anybody come up and say, oh, I'm sorry, but did I call that one off too close?
Her Unholiness, the Priestess Dusty, running in to have a quick word with Deuce Willis. Back on the bench, though, for CM Power. Flying King coming off the 1234 skate code jammer line for Boston. King looks and sees that opening in lane 1. He gets closed in a hurry, though. Ballerina is going to take advantage. She is the lead jammer for Toronto.
Again, I can't talk enough about the adjustments she's made from the first half to the second half. Ballerina, known to be very prolific, not seeing a lot of that in the first half. Now she knows how to deal with this defense.
That's right, and she has put up a very quick one. That was a nice call off for Toronto. Boston unable to catch up and get any points in that jam. Scoreboard 161-145, 16 minutes plus on the period clock, Bob. Ginger Kid, number 43, on the 1234 skate code jammer line for Boston. Mad Megs 420 in pink for Toronto.
And Meg's she's gonna use that power. I like the fact that she separates herself from the pack and then battering rams it.
Boston looking to set up at the front. Amy Rock throwing her teammate into Megs. Megs, though, still able to pick up 4. We're seeing a lot of 4-0 jams right now. I have a feeling we're going to see them go swinging back and forth the rest of this half, save for the odd power jam. It's going to be like nickels and dimes from here on out.
Yeah, it's definitely it definitely should shape up to be a scratch and claw kind of game. And even on the power jams, with the exception of the one that we had, we're not seeing a lot of passes.
Space Invader taking advantage of that leg span. However, that leg span gets her into trouble in that case because she went over the line, cuts the track. This is now a power jam for Smoke-A-Cola and CN Power. Smoke-A-Cola now picking up lead jammer status. I think we saw an elbow penalty being issued there to Lil Payne, the pivot for Boston. So now there's only 3 Boston blockers on the track. Rennie Rumble on her way to the penalty box with her 6th trip. She's in penalty trouble for Toronto. Anorexia quarterbacking up at the front, that diamond of defense for Boston.
Everything kind of falls apart. Everybody falls over, unfortunately. So does Smoke-A-Cola. As we see Boston with their jammer back out on the track, Space Invader.
And Space Invader now back on. Smoka-Cola, though, has a sizable point advantage at this point in the jam, 14-0. Instructions come from Dusty as Smoka gets caught by Space Invader. Calls the jam, no more points, but a 14-0 run for Smoka and CM Power. They're at 179 and 145, Bob. Just 13 minutes left on the period clock when this next jam gets going.
Well, I tell you, I don't know that Smoka really realized that when she was calling off the jam when she did, that she was lucky because Space Invader was coming in hot and she was going to send her. That was going to be a hit, and she pulled up.
Both teams at this point still have 2 timeouts at their disposal. Each team still retains an official review for this half as well. May start seeing some of that paperwork happening in the latter stages of this half.
But there you see Ballerina. She's into it. She runs around it, back into it, runs around it, till she finds a hole, and it's been working out very well for her as lead jammer again.
Yeah, Shayna Nestor and Hard Times doing some nice work on that previous pass to get their jammer out. Maya Mangliu did finish her she did complete her initial pass. Unable to catch up, though, and score. A 3-0 jam there for Toronto. That'll be a nickel. You're talking about nickels and dimes?
Yeah.
We'll call that one a nickel.
Yeah, I think you're right.
A 4-point jam will be a dime.
All right, I'm with you on
With the
that.
exchange rate between these two countries right now, that's kind of inappropriate.
Yeah, I'd say that's right. After 2 years coming back, I actually got more money back than I did the last time. So, at least I got that going for me, which is nice.
Wow, Ginger Kid with a spinorama, getting around Hoser on the inside. Really nice move and fancy footwork there. Really sparse track right now. We've only got 2 Boston blockers and 1 Toronto blocker on the track as the box fills up.
Well, I'll tell you, Whistler, it's like I've said many times. Everything that you see done out on the track here, I've done before myself. I've just not done it on purpose.
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of experience
Yeah,
from
that's
Bob
right.
Noxious.
In fact, I decided to go. I learned the importance of safety gears. I hit a skateboard park for the first time in 25 years a few weeks ago. I'm limping a little bit. My head was saved, and I bruised my ribs. So
If there's video footage, I'd love to see that, Bob.
I've got the helmet cam, floor, ceiling.
Maya Mangliu getting around Ames to kill, picking up the lead jammer status. Ames gets sent off, however, now being waved back onto the track. Unfortunately, she got halfway around it before she realized she was being waved back. Maya Mangliu now has put up a 5 spot for Boston. Belfast trying to get around Hard Times. Hard Times giving her one. Bell does get through. That's her initial pass.
Hard times right there with what might have been one of the most terrific individual efforts we've seen today.
And Maya Mangliu colliding with the pivot for CM Power, 111 Santa Muerte. Maya Mangliu picking up a back blocking penalty. This is now a power jam for Belfast and CN Power. Shark Week just keeping that one toe stop in place as she deals with Santa Muerte. Santa and Nasher teaming up. 3-2 pack advantage right now for Boston. They've got Anorexia out there along with Shark Week and Hard Times.
Just couldn't cover the outside line. That's just it. You've got so many jammers with such great footwork skills and such great awareness today. You can't leave them an inch or two. They're going to get through.
Belfast now slowed down by that Boston pack. Maya Mangliu back on. She is on her initial pass for Boston. So Belfast is going to let this one go a little bit longer. Looks like she's trying to hand it off to her pivot, Santa Muerte. Taken down hard on the other side of the pillar, Bob. Couldn't see who that was.
Awkward fall backward again. Seems to be okay, though.
Yeah, from what I could see, it looked like no head contact to the ground, which is good.
No.
But she's going to feel that in her kidneys later.
Yeah, the backside and her kidneys are going to ache.
Referees still kind of conferring on the infield. Official timeout being called.
And, of course, that's brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics. And Roller Derby Athletics, we would like to remind you that they want you to be strong. They want you to be fierce and unstoppable. Find out more at rollerderbyathletics.com.
So, Bob, 8 minutes, 45 seconds left in the half. CM Power in front, 195 to the Boston Massacres, 157. This is actually a Toronto timeout, as it turns out. So Toronto is using one of their timeouts, maybe a little on the early side. Hard to say. Depends on how the rest of this half goes.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I was questioning the same thing. But at the same time, we could both understand that if they're making sure they're shored up for the final run, if they saw some things that got a little sloppy that were working earlier, well worth it. Always hard to know exactly what they talk about. But
well, and the reason I bring up those timeouts, of course, is that in 2013, when these two teams played at the Salem Division I WFTDA International Playoffs, Toronto came out on top of that because they managed to call off a jam with less than 30 seconds on the clock, and Boston had used up all their timeouts.
Yep.
So the time just ran out for that one. So, again, want to be very cautious with when you use these timeouts. Lil Payne trying to get around Hoser and Scarcasm. Meanwhile, up front, Ballerina dealing with Ginger Kid.
And that looks like they just got tangled up. No, they're going to send the blocker. The Ballerina got caught up, and they're going to send her off. Didn't see the call.
And so there was a lead jammer status awarded to Bala and Toronto.
And right now, Bala really, they may want her to go, but go slow.
Well, right, but it's really tempting, though. You've got, as Lightning Slim would say, the wide open spaces. She has a lot of room right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Hard times in Ginger Kid to contend with.
Look at that.
Ginger Kid trying to do the drawback, but not quite quick enough. Bala re-enters really quickly and cleanly, puts up another 4 points. That should be a 9-point pickup.
Let's give Lightning Slim analytical credit on that one, because he's absolutely right. She's got wide open spaces to run through, and you got somebody that agile, they're gone pretty quickly.
Speaking of Lightning Slim, he will be on the stream call at 4 p.m. for Boston's next game. Sorry, 5 p.m. Eastern. Boston against Steel City Steel Hurton. That'll be Lightning Slim and U-Bob.
Yes.
Mad Megs cutting the track early in this jam. Flying King is the lead jammer. Flying King is on a power jam. It's under 7 minutes remaining. 44 points to make up.
Emily Pawelski pulled herself off the track. She's got some sort of, I don't know if they were able to get her replaced in time or not, but she's got a skate malfunction. We can see from here that
she's only got one truck on her skate right now.
Yeah, her truck came off.
Kind of need 8 wheels, unfortunately, so they're going to try to get that fixed in a hurry. Flying King getting the direction to call that jam, and they do. 5-point pass. This might be an opportunity for Boston to call a timeout if they want a little more time to get that skate repaired.
Yeah, actually, Boston did wind up skating with only 4 people.
Equipment malfunctions do happen, but obviously we've got some experienced people on this bench. Both benches actually looking really calm.
Oh, yeah. So far, everybody that we've seen has been really composed, but we're also dealing with teams that have been at this for a while.
Ginger Kid, though, a little too quick, trying to get around those blockers through the apex, cuts the track. This is now a power jam for Mad Megs and CN Power. Well, Mad Megs also picking up lead status, too.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the thing about Ginger Kid, it's scenarios like that. When you have the ability to do great things, sometimes when you get into scenarios like this, you push it too hard. And, one of the things that's hard to express to people is don't be a hero. Just go out there and do what you do. And I think she got herself into some trouble.
That's right, Bob. At the same token, though, you do have that whole risk and reward situation we were talking about before. Sometimes, especially this late in the game, you are going to take some of those risks. You're down by 40 points. And if that risk paid off, if that gamble paid off, she could have been lead jammer. She could be scoring right now. Her blockers may have been able to do something to Mad Megs as well. And we can see the flip side of this jammer penalty. Ginger Kid is back on the track right now. Boston, though, right now just has Amy Rock and I believe... Sorry, it was just Anorexia. They were the only two blockers on the track at the end of that one. Last scoring pass, a 4-1 run for Toronto and a 14-1 jam overall. 218 and 170. 4 minutes left on the period clock. Lead right now, it's about 48 points in Toronto's favor.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close to the point of no return. With 4 minutes left to go, they still are just within reach of potentially pulling something out of this, Boston. But they got to do it fast. They got to manage that last time out very well.
Shayna Nestor, Womanimal, with the takeout and drawback on Ballerina. However, she's able to stay in. Maya Mangelu, though, is the lead jammer for Boston. She's getting ready to call it. She's got the wings up.
Yeah, she's got to make a decision. The clock is running.
That may have worked out in her favor, though. She was able to take down Ballerina on the straightaway.
Yeah, but she's now stuck in that three wall or that V-shaped defensive formation.
And yes, there's the backfire, unfortunately, for her. She was able to call it in time. She could have picked up a point on a shutout, but meanwhile, Bala has picked up 4 for Toronto.
I don't know that. I don't know that I understand this. I think she's just killing too much time. I think they're taking a chance too early. I think if you had 2 more minutes off the clock, maybe you do what you got to do. In that particular case, you just killed a minute and a half.
And while she did pick up 4 points,
but
on
she
that
gave
jam,
up 7.
She gave up 7. So the net result, 3-point advantage there to Toronto.
Yeah, it was the 3 points wouldn't concern me nearly as much as the time that was just killed.
Well, of course. And what we're seeing now, that 48-point deficit has now grown to 51. Just 2.5 minutes left. 51 points, Bob. That's a lot to try to get in this
especially from what we've seen out of this game.
We haven't had a lead that great yet in this game. Even in the earlier game between Steel City and Rideau Valley, I think 50 was about the greatest span we had.
But the biggest consideration is we're not seeing big break-open jams. For the most part, we're seeing anything between 3 and 9 or 10 points.
I think the biggest one we had was a 19-point jam for Mad Megs in the first half.
Yep.
And Megs now calls off the jam. Picks up another 4 spot. Less than 2 minutes now on the period clock.
And at least according to the clock we're looking at, they've got 2 timeouts remaining, and they're letting the clock run.
They also have an official review at your disposal. This could also be one of those times when maybe you just kind of go out there and make something up. I know I've done it on the bench.
No, coaches don't do things like that. So now we've... okay.
Oh, Ballerina knocking Ginger Kid out of bounds. She's going to skate back. She's going to draw her back. How far back is she going to take her?
No.
She's calling her. We haven't seen Toronto pull off this move successfully yet. They do try it from time to time. Doesn't quite get it. Ballerina, I think, was trying to go for the 6-point pass.
But at the same time, you know what? Again, it killed so much clock.
Yeah, still a heads-up play by the Toronto Jammer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though Ginger Kid is now in a scoring position, I believe.
Yeah. Ballerina looking to the bench like she wants to call it off, and they're telling her, just keep going, which is absolutely all she needs to do. Run out the period clock.
Yeah, and Ginger Kid gets taken back. Now has to get around a 3-wall. CM Power dropping an anchor, and Misery May doing the bridge. Ballerina trying to get around Shayna Nestor and Lil Payne.
She doesn't even need to. I know it's got to be hard to think that way, but
I think we are seeing some conservative play here by the Toronto Jammer, not looking to go into the box.
Oh, nobody told Lil Payne that, though.
No, Lil Payne's like, I'm going to go and I'm going to take you. That was a very nice hit. Keeps it clean, keeps it safe.
Okay.
And Boston calls the timeout as time is about to run out.
Yeah, I don't think the game is done. They should have granted him the timeout, which he's gotten.
Yeah, it looks like they are. They're going to put some time back on the clock. Deuce Willis coming over to the scorekeepers. Going to see how many seconds. They put 4 seconds back on. Boston now takes that timeout.
And then but they're going to eat this game with 1 timeout and a challenge on the scoreboard.
And that's right, because with what should very well be the final jam of this game, they're going to go into it the deficit of 55 points, Bob.
Yep.
And ever since the dawn of the 30-second penalty in WFTDA play, I don't know that we have seen a 55-point jam yet.
No. I do believe the actual record for a power jam still stands under the old rules, where the passive offense didn't even exist. And I think it's like 40. I want to say it was 47.
I know we had in previous years at Quad City Chaos under the 1-minute penalties. We did have a few plus 40s, but again, nothing approaching that here at the bunker ever since they reduced the penalty time to 30 seconds. So coming off the 12:34 Skako jammer line, Mad Megs 420 for Toronto, Maya Mangaliu 11:11 for Boston. Maya Mangaliu picking up lead jammer status. Mad Megs, though, also through on her initial pass. Aubrey Planets taking out Aims to Kill. Boston skaters now standing at their bench as time is running out. Minute and a half still left on the jam clock. Misery May picking up a penalty on that last pass. Maya Mangaliu now taking 4. Looking to close this gap, see if they can diminish some of the damage that the rankings upset may cause them. Hard times picking up a track cut. Pivot for Boston. Tried to take a shortcut into the penalty box. Now sent around the outside, but time has run out. The jam is called. And we do have a rankings upset, Bob.
Yeah, we do. And you know what? It was just it was a well-played, hard-played game. I mean, to me, the only thing I think I can feel like you can be critical of is the time management on Boston's side, especially when the game is within 50 points. That doesn't mean that it would have worked, but you like to see that, see people try that. But I just would like to say that I called Boston's very first tournament appearance in 2006. I've always had a lot of respect, and I've always enjoyed the Boston team. A lot of retired players out there that might be watching. I miss you guys. Shelby Shattered, Sarah Doom, a lot of people.
And Boston played extremely hard in this game. I mean, I was actually concerned for Toronto's sake earlier when they called that early timeout, and for the same reason, that could have really bitten them in the caboose. And I think they may have actually caught a bit of a break there with that early timeout. Sometimes you call it timeout because you need to reset. You need to give your jammers a break. You need your blockers to reset and refocus. So
it's all part of it, and that's one of the things that Derby is really starting to learn. When it comes to coaching, has come such a long way, and people understand time management. They understand people management at a level that has never been, that never was until just 3-4 years ago. And anyway, it was a fantastic game, no matter how you look at it.
Well, and as we were saying before, both you and I, we have both spent time on benches, doing that clock management ourselves. It's not easy.
No.
I know I made mistakes in my time. You probably did too, although we won't talk about that.
They're probably well documented. But
but this one is going in the books as a victory for Toronto CM Power, 233, Boston Massacre 178. This was the second game of Quad City Chaos 2015 here at the Bunker in Downsview Park. And coming up at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is in half an hour, we got a bit of a break between these two games. We will have our first B team game of the weekend. Toronto's Bay Street Bruisers will be taking on the Sirens from the Rideau Valley Roller Girls in Ottawa, Ontario.
Looking forward to that.
And we will have Derby Nerd and Tipsy McStaggers on the stream call for that. You are watching Quad City Chaos on layer9.ca. You may see a little donate box somewhere on the Layer 9 page. By all means, do click it, throw a couple of loonies into the jar, help defray some of the production costs.
That's right.
We're very pleased to bring, once again, this high quality, high definition, multiple camera production. It's always a lot of fun here at Quad City Chaos in the first place. I'm really glad you're here,
It's always fun to be part of something Toronto Roller Derby does, quite honestly. So before I just shower you with praise and all that kind of stuff, I'll just sign off and say, this is Bob Noxious for Mr. Whistler, and we are done.